All right. What else you got? What's your next one?
This comes from Most Def No Doubt on Twitter. Ask, why do people think North Carolina will be top 10 next year? That's not the way college basketball works, and yet every year people hype up the same things. I don't know. Why would you not think North Carolina is going to be top 10 next year?
We now listen. We have discussed this very trope, if you will, on the pod in the past month or so. It's hard to make a case against North Carolina at this stage. Now, if you want to, that's perfectly fine. I'm not saying that you're outright wrong for doing so, but when you consider what North Carolina ended as a team from mid-February on, the Tar Heels were operating like one of the 10 best teams in the sport. That's objectively true. I think it's true from a data standpoint. My man GP here in a second, I'm sure we'll call up the Bart Torvik timeline and let us know where they ranked amid all that. But from February 17 to the end of the season, North Carolina went 11-2. They finished the season 11-2 with a number of double-digit wins over highly ranked teams like Virginia Tech, Duke twice, Baylor, UCLA, and it's bringing back just about everyone. So because of that, I might, when it gets time for me to rank every team in October, I might fade it a little bit. UNC finished 16th at KenPom. Let me check real quick where I finished at Torvik. Haven't brought up Torvik in a minute here. Shouts to Bart. He's already got his 23 ones up. I don't want to see this, man. I do not want to see his rankings for next season here. He had Carolina finishing 16, same number. KenPom and Torvik. UNC finished there. So listen, I know you got this locked and loaded. You've been updating the top 25 and one with regularity with every single significant roster update. That will continue, obviously, throughout the offseason there. So feel free to repeat yourself if you got to hammer this point home. But there's just enough there. I mean, Armando Bacot will have a case to be the preseason National Player of the Year. I know Sheboy's coming back to Kentucky, but if people want to say, I don't think the same guy's going to repeat, I'm going to go with Bacot. Also, that's entirely reasonable. You get everyone else back that matters. I mean, come on. And plus, like I expect Puff Johnson, and he showed some spurts, showed some highlights there, GP. It's hard to shift off UNC as anything outside a top 5 team heading into next season. That's all.
Yeah, they're top 10 at Torvik preseason. To your point, if you run the data from last season, because some Carolina skeptics will consistently repeat, they're just a team that got hot in the NCAA tournament. That's not what they were, though. That is kind of what UCLA was the year before, because UCLA was actually on a losing streak heading into the NCAA tournament. Carolina played really well from mid-February on. When they lost to Pitt on February 16th, that was disastrous. A 76-67 loss at home that dropped them to 10-5 in the ACC. But if you run the data from the day after that, February 17th through the end of the season, they were the third best team in that stretch. Several weeks. I mean, from February, this isn't like from March 17th through the end of the season. February 17th through the end of the season, they were the third best team in the country, according to BartTorvik.com, behind only, I believe, Kansas and Texas Tech. So when you return 4 starters from a team that was that, plus a team that played for the national title, plus a team that was up double digits at halftime in the national title game, I think that's obviously a preseason top 10 team. The one, if you wanted to ask a question like that, I think you would ask it about Creighton, which we've discussed before. A lot of people have Creighton in the top 5 even now preseason. And that's the team that's just not just bringing, but largely bringing back a lot of good pieces. They added a heralded transfer, but they're bringing back a lot of good pieces from a team that was good, but that finished 50th at KenPom. Do you really go from 50th at KenPom to 2nd in the country, bringing back a lot of the good pieces that took you to 50th at KenPom? Maybe. But I think it's more reasonable to question, is Creighton really a top 10 team, than it is to question, is North Carolina really a top 10 team? Because I don't think, at least on paper, I don't think you can even question Carolina.
Yeah, I agree.